Thank you. I love it when the wrestler says trust the coaches. And Dudley and Brooks are in the final 184.
Well, the number 1 and number 2 seeds didn't make this weight class here. Dominic Abnader beat by TJ Dudley. He's having a fantastic tournament, and the homeboy Sammy Brooks made it to the finals for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and so this sets up a rematch where TJ Dudley was able to go ahead and get a first period fall against Brooks back in the duel in Lincoln. So tables turn here a little bit. Now in Carver Hawkeye Arena, Brooks has an opportunity to win a championship. Dudley, the All-American.
Shake hands,
Brooks has been off the stand the last 2 years and looked to get on there his junior year.
Dudley, a South Carolina native, and Brooks, two-time Illinois state champion for Mike Powell and the very powerful Oak Park River Forest team. As you said, Brooks is looking to avenge the loss to Dudley from earlier this season.
And that was basically right this position right here. See the tie-up of the wrist that Brooks was able to go. You see, he got his right wrist free, but Dudley just has the super grip and knows how to use it. He's good with the tilts. And I really believe that he's the most improved wrestler I've seen year over year and in this tournament.
Well, this is a great matchup. As we said, Dudley had a pin over Brooks in this year's duel, but last year's duel, or a couple of years ago, Brooks won in sudden victory. So make no mistake about it. This is going to be a tight one.
Excuse me, Tim, but what an impressive start that Sammy Brooks got going in the season in the Oklahoma State match.
Yeah.
Where he's able to go out there and attack that left leg of Dudley. And, you know, he can get his single leg off, and he's really good at finishing. His footwork is great. And he's got to get back to doing that. See him working off the underhook and drifting to the right. That's where he's at his best.
Well, you mentioned the beginning of the season, of course, the grapple on the gridiron, 42,287 in Kinnick Stadium. And Brooks had a 17-2 technical fall over Oklahoma State's Jordan Rogers, and that was the difference.
Yeah. Dudley going for it there with the lateral drop.
Work center, gentlemen. Work
Almost
center.
had it kind of loosened up at the end. So, you know, what that does right there, though, it keeps Brooks from, you know, thinking twice about pushing in hard off those underhooks. So now he's back to working the wrist. And that's just another reason why I think he's improved so much is his game out there is well thought through. Now Brooks on the shot, but you see how Dudley with that grip was able to control the inside wrist. Hey, both these guys have the skills to go pretty deep in the tournament. And I say, you know, they're in the deep in the tournament right now, this tournament, but I'm talking the NCAA championships. Gabe Dean, the returning NCAA champion. Dominic Abnader, the Big Ten champion last year that was the number 2 seed. He
Wrestling
well.
for third right now, Abnader. Brooks started 13-0 this year before suffering his first loss of the season at the Midlands.
Wow, right there, snatch single. No points right there. Good job on the whizzer there by Dudley.
Boy, with that whizzer, he kept the momentum going because Brooks had him dead to right there.
Now he's picking up on that. See what the battle is here. The Brooks stuffed his own head there. He's trying to work off the head. Now he's allowed that to get straight up. Inside wrist tie, though. Watch this pop off.
There's 2 points for Sammy Brooks.
Right at the end, too.
Right at the end, rides him out. That's the way you like to do it. Nobody likes it better than their coaches, Tom Brands. There's Mark Manning. Wished it wouldn't have happened right when it did.
Well,
Tom Brands very excited about that execution by Sammy Brooks. You can't draw it up any better than that.
Did a nice job of getting his head up off the mat, finishing that technique, and like I said, is getting back to what we saw him in the first meet of the season. When he got on that single leg, his footwork was good. Kind of got away from that a little bit. Caution on Dudley, probably.
Got that pause, guys. You got that pause. Go ahead and get set. Good focus. Set. Cover. Set.
Nope, that would be a caution probably on top. Sammy Brooks probably. So it's 1-1 on the cautions like we've talked before. You get 2 cautions before there's a penalty. So 2 freebies.
Set.
Started the second period, and Dudley out trying to make this a reversal instead. of a escape, but he gets the escape. Wants to go back to his feet. 1 for Dudley. Now it's 2-1.
He also cut the riding time there by releasing him like that. The riding time was working in favor of Brooks, so Brooks only got 8 seconds of riding time. And
Work center, John.
Dudley is a pretty darn good rider. He was able to ride out Abinator the whole third period in that match that he had in the semis, which really impressed me. And you know what Brooks is trying to do, and I think it's working pretty well. He's working off that tie right there. He's got the grip lock correctly here. He's got to get his feet moving. Doesn't quite get it going, but he's still in a good position to come up and finish. And watch him come here.
Nice job catching the other far ankle and covering the hip for 2, then the escape for 1.
Quick escape, makes it 4-2. And the Iowa corner is really on their feet. They want Brooks to really keep the pace up. Another takedown for Brooks would get this Iowa crowd in gear.
Oh, and he slips in. Dudley comes back with a hip in and 2 points himself.
Now he's got a leg in, and what you don't want to do is do what Brooks has just done right here. I think he's given up the wrist, and now he's pretty good at giving a tilt in this position, and so that grip coming to play again. Now he's got the 2-on-1. He's pretty solid at tilting the guy up from this position. Brooks doing a great job of fighting on
by
that.
Sammy Brooks there, hand control and getting out. 5-4, no riding time advantage. 15 seconds left in the second period. We've got ourselves a lot of action. There's
really
stalling on Brooks for pushing out.
Oh,
Try
wow.
to come back in. Set.
He pushed him right into the Nebraska corner, and Mark Manning was waiting to help make the call. Oh, yeah,
Those
take
are
a
the
look
boys
at
in
Iowa
white
corner.
right there. Tom and Ryan Morningstar cannot believe the call just made by the officials there. Ryan Morningstar on the left. Tom Brand's in his 10th year. Tremendous job at Iowa. 3-time NCAA champion himself for a Hawkeye. He's a Hawkeye legend.
Certainly understand that frustration with that one. That's a tough call to take. I mean, Brooks has been on the offense with his leg attacks most of the match.
Again, and like you said, Dudley being good on top, but Brooks able to get out, and Dudley decides it's really going to be done on the feet.
Dudley looks a little tight. I mean, I saw him glancing over at the clock with 20 seconds left. Now he's a little bit like Aymar was in that match, kind of operating on fumes, but can he gather himself like the champion did?
Minute and a half left in regulation. Sammy Brooks out in front, 6-4.
And this is where Brooks, with all this time left, and the fact that you've been able to get out from underneath, go for that takedown. This is the closing takedown right now. You got plenty of time if you don't get it to get the quick escape to win the match.
Good point, Jim. And that's what the guys in the corner are wanting him to do. He just needs to find that angle again, as he's been doing.
If you don't do that, what you've done is allowed Dudley an opportunity to kind of, like I said, gather himself, look over the clock, and get that one shot to tie it up or create a flurry.
Nebraska trying to win their first championship of the day here. They've had a great tournament so far. This would put an exclamation mark if they could get a champion. Here's your place finishers at 174. There are 9 qualifiers, automatic qualifiers, all the way down to Nick Wanzek from Minnesota. They all qualify for the NCAAs at Madison Square Garden, March 17th to the 19th in New York City. 30 seconds left. Sammy Brooks out in front. Dudley in on the leg. He switches over to the other side and slips the arm. But nice hip job by Sammy Brooks.
He's got it. He's got an opportunity to drive through, but he's only got 15 seconds left, and Brooks has done a great job, but now he gives up position. Does Dudley have enough in him to get the finish? He comes up to a double, and nice job by Brooks. Keeping his chest up, dropping the anvil in his rear end, and that's the match.
Great effort by both wrestlers. Great hips at the end, and your champion, Sammy Brooks, gives the home crowd fans something to stand up and cheer for. They get their second championship, the Hawkeyes do, at Carver Hawkeye.
Both ways.
Sammy Brooks, 184 pounds.